that DarkZero comes out on top.
First ban is Thatcher. Boo.
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 There we go.
Wonderful.
They'll get better.
They'll learn.
They'll get better. It's early. It's early. This is
game.
This is gamer hours. They're not supposed to wake up for another hour.
It's actually impressive how many people made it here, given how early it is. Good job again.
Maverick ban will join. Wamai is also off of the board. Fourth ban, Mira, Valkyrie, potentially on Cafe, Nick.
Valkyrie and Mira, both very good options to take. They both play out very differently, but information versus... Oh, wait a minute. Both being left open as it's an oNe target ban coming out instead. Those laser gates, as we always mention, they are not going to be in play.
Try to do that again.
They didn't do it, so I had to.
Are you sure there's not a single laser gate?
There might have been.
Not even one?
There must have been.
Because you weren't listening.
I was busy doing other things as well, and I was, listening to the crowds, going wee woo. 3
players from Team 1 in attendance. You will see that multiple times when the player cams come up. The other 2 players still playing remotely in Mexico City. The very first defense here on Cafe is downstairs in kitchen.
The first floor, not the basement, by the way. In case
Appreciate you clarifying
anybody's curious, because as a player, we call it the basement bomb site, but that is factually incorrect. It's the first floor of Cafe. We are indeed not at the basement level, and it's going to be Team 1 on the defensive side and DC on the attack, and Eclipse is attacker repicking at Blackbeard. Okay. Intriguing start.
By the way, you can feel it right now. You tweeted before the matches that one of the things about being at a LAN event are those big moments. Explosion of a C4, a shotgun blast, the rattling that goes on through an entire convention center and arena when Lion's E1D goes off, and we're right next to the stage, just listening to the shotgun blast going, and you can feel it. You feel it right in your chest.
Your feet, even on this stage that we're standing on, you definitely can tell when something wild happens. C4s as well. When a C4 kill goes out, you hear the explosion, you feel it, and the crowd goes chanting or cheering for the team that got the kill. It's so beautiful. And it really does define that we are indeed at a LAN event with a crowd.
God, it's been so long. 800, and was it 65 days, 25 days, something like that?
Very long time.
I tweeted it last night, I don't remember. Oh. Well.
Someone cut a cord.
Unideal. And we're back.
We'll get back.
So we'll get the lobby back up again for you. We almost made it.
I will say it was exciting though. We saw the setup, saw the operators, and then we said, no, give us a moment. Just a swift one.
Hold on.
Okay.
Might be a first time for everything. A let's go rehost chant. Very good. The audience will entertain you.
I mean, the rehost does have like a mind of its own. So it is almost like a team of its own, if you will.
Did you pray to the rehost gods when you woke up this morning? Because if you didn't, this is all your fault.
Okay, in that case I did. I did not want this partner.
It's all your fault.
I wanted action, and I wanted the action to be continuous and keep going for the entire match through with no stops in between.
You have a long history of influencing these decisions. First,
No.
You ran ESL back many years ago.
Don't go there, Parker.
Yep.
The only thing...
All of this is your fault.
Yeah. I am the sole person at hand. I'm at fault for these things, and honestly, I did trip over the TV cable back in our talent room earlier, so even that I'm at fault for. Today's just not my day.
It's not your day.
It's not my day.
Maybe you're cursed. Who knows?
What do you do if you're cursed? What's the solution? Do we...
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not one for curses.
No?
Get an exorcism of some kind?
Yeah, sort of thinking. Maybe you shake me real good. Maybe I'll be like, and it'll just go right out of me and I'll be fine.
You want me to shake you?
I actually don't. Not right now.
Thank you.
But maybe later?
Lobby's getting set up, by the way. We're almost ready to go. Again, fingers crossed. I want you to cross all of your fingers.
Crossing them?
Not you, the audience.
Oh, but I'm also at fault, so I should help them. No?
You've done enough.
Okay. I won't do anything. I'll wait.
Kitchen defense, the attackers were still in their repick phase. As for the defensive lineup, they were going for, well, from the brief glimpse that we had, it looked like they were extending out into Bakery, which is pretty normal. I didn't get to see the back of Freezer as to whether or not Freezer was also being prepped. On that bomb site in particular, if you're going to roam upstairs, which also looked like it was happening from Team 1, they had at least one player on that second floor that I saw. I didn't get a great glimpse of all of it. But you want to prep that one wall into Freezer, maybe even both. You can put somebody downstairs inside a VIP, likely behind a deployable shield, that watches the angle that leads into freezer, because the hatch and freezer is where most teams will want to drop.
Yep.
Maybe get a smoke off from the attacker side of things and then go for a plant in the default plant spot, which is right behind the bomb chassis next to the freezer door. That's always an option, and that's a viable strategy for most teams. The other attack onto kitchen is far more linear. Once you clear out bakery, you go for the bakery wall, you walk right in and you go for a plant. You can go for the plant next to prep. You can go for a little bit deeper in next to the rack and rolls, which if you've worked in a kitchen, you know what a rack and roll is?
A rack and roll?
I have a rack and roll. It's
a fancy name.
It's an item in the kitchen.
You don't know what it is? You
I know what it is.
Okay.
I know what it is.
You didn't describe it very well. You said item in the kitchen.
It's an item in the kitchen. It's on wheels. It's a tall
rack.
tall like rack with multiple racks that you put like baking sheets and
a
baking
rack with
pans
many
in.
racks.
And it's called a rack and roll because it's racks and it rolls. It's
That's very logical.
very, very primitive stuff.
Sensible.
You know, as aptly named as the walkie-talkie. What do? You walkie and you talkie. Very simple stuff.
I wonder who comes up with those names.
That's the thing, right? Like
Smart
there's
person.
a great skit from Brian Regan where he talks about, like, you know, the military has all these cool names like Apache helicopter. We're in the game, by the way.
We're back. All right, bakery.
He's like Tomahawk cruise missile, Apache helicopter, walkie-talkie. So
Very simple, straightforward.
didn't think I'd be quoting Brian Regan on a cast today, but here we are.
So yes, we are correct, Parker. We are extending on both the bakery side of things and on the back side of VIP. Jaeger right now putting down those ADSs. We can assume that a shield might be going there, as both Echo and Smoke has brought one each. So you're gonna spread out the utility on both sides. If you put all your eggs in one basket or one half of the map, well, the attackers will simply walk on this side that has no utility. So it's important that you spread it out evenly or somewhat evenly. On the attacking side, nothing out of the ordinary, of course. Team DarkZero, they are very known to play the Flores, use those with terror drones for self-destruction. Hyper is a known thinker main, and then the rest, well, it's all the standard. And you might be looking at your screen saying, why is Panbasu playing heart support? Why is he playing ace? But Panba party time, boys. Okay, AK-12, great weapon. The gadget, you use it early in the round on most cafe rounds. Once you've used that utility, you can now just become a free gun in the round. This also allows Canadian and Eclipse to play more flexible operators, and it really is what rounds out DarkZero as a unit, as a team.
Kaid gets spotted as the first Flores drone goes in. The Kaid playing inside a VIP. It's a nice piece of utility used by Flores. NJR still has 3 at his disposal, and will now go on to a more sensible normal drone and clear out that second floor. As we talked about, Nick, you want to hold off site. One of the most prized possessions for the defenders will be that freezer hatch, should they sit over top of it. And we can see the silhouette of Dash reposition in that direction, but instead he thinks otherwise. Dash is one of the 2 players from Team 1 who are not here on site, instead playing from Mexico City. If you did not tune in during the pre-show or did not hear before we got into the match, 3 players from Team 1 got their visas in time, and they are here. That's Dots, Rise, and Gonis. And Dash is the first to die, doesn't really help him. He gets scouted out, and the Twitch F2 is a little bit too much to handle. Eclipse starting things off. Another there for Canadian as he's above. Nitro Cell does not connect. Half of the round used now for DarkZero. Engaging onto Panbasu is Dots, and he wins the duel. All the smashing from above has drawn the attention of Lagonis. The roaming smoke from above. He might catch Canadian off guard. Some bullets through the soft wall. As an adrenal surge goes out, that left Canadian a bit topped up. He'll go right back into Sledge's office to tear away some of that floor.
It's only a 1-for-1 trade now, leaving DC still in the lead because they can do vertical to destruction. They still got a bit of utility left. Those were terror drones, flashbangs, but no, Lagonis shuts down Canadian, taking advantage back.
He should have known that somebody was up there. Maybe he did, but he needed to do utility work instead. Give an advantage to the rest of your team. 45 seconds for DarkZero at a disadvantage. This nice angle from the Kaid. Almost a collateral on NJR and Hyper, but it's rise to fall to Eclipse. Dots repositions back into the bomb site by the B-bomb chassis. Time still ticking down. Both teams relatively even. Diffuser for DZ. Last adrenal surge goes out. Doesn't help NJR. Maya picks him off. DZ now trail in numbers. Lagonis on the stairs to come back, has the attention of Eclipse. That leaves Hyper as the only player from DZ to get the work done on the bomb site. And he gets out-dueled by Maya, so it's time to go for Eclipse. Not an abundance of it. As he heads into the bomb site, takes out Dots. He needs to clutch as best as he can, but it's Lagonis again. The Echo will swarm, and it's Lagonis to get it. Team One take round number 1.
And this is the thing about starting in the attack inside is that, well, Team One can sit that back and just wait for DarkZero to make all the wrong moves. And, well, they tried to go for the early roam clear, but they missed 2 members of Team One, and that really punished them back. Lagonis with the roaming smoke almost took down Canadian as well before he then fell back towards the bomb site. And that just came down to those 1 versus 1 initiations where, well, DarkZero, they fell. Only Eclipse found a kill in the round. He found 3 of those, but that's not enough. He was left in that 1 versus 2, and Team 1 played a nice crossfire. They pushed together, ensuring that if Eclipse came off that defuse, that they could at least get a trade 1-for-1, which would then give them the round. And that's what they got. 1-0 for Team 1. We're headed to reading bomb site instead.
All 4 bomb sites on this map do get played. It is not uncommon to see them trotted out by the teams throughout the course of the matchup. The one bomb site that does tend to see the least amount of play among top teams is also on that middle floor. It's not the reading bomb site, but it does have that adjoining dining area. It's over towards mining and dining. For reading, your control is going to be very similar to the other second floor bomb site. Hold upstairs on Cocktail and make sure that your attacking opponents cannot just break the reading door and then run into the bomb site. Time and time again, teams will employ tricky strategies, maybe an Amaru, maybe a Lion, maybe a Ying, maybe a Dokkaebi, and just immediately go for a quick plant and get everything done within the first 30 seconds. If you look at the lineup for DarkZero, it certainly doesn't look like that's their intention, but honestly, who knows?
DarkZero typically plays that clean, quote-unquote, like normal style of Rainbow Six Siege. Very structured, very strategical, but they also do know a pocket strat or 2 that they will keep up their sleeve, I'm sure. Whereas Team 1, when you're defending Cafe, it's all about the verticality. So when you're defending the second floor of reading, you want to extend up top floor that we see Dash in right now to hold off the attackers, stall time, deny these drones and these bits of information from DarkZero, then fall back slowly as they try and contest you. You don't need to get kills if you're in Dash's position. You just need to stay alive and do as much damage as possible without taking too many risks.
The gall of Dash to get as aggressive as he has. The Kaids have played a huge role in both rounds thus far. That second one could have done a little bit more, but he doesn't want to give his life away as the first minute falls off of the clock. DarkZero will drop through Red Hatch. Team 1 still have some players up on that top floor, though they are gradually getting back towards the bomb site. The one most pivotal part is Cocktail, and that's exactly where you don't want the attackers to go, especially if a sledge or a buck is on the board. NJR's on the sledge this time, not Canadian. So if he can get over to Cocktail and start smashing through the floor, then you'll have a very easy line of sight down to reading, and it becomes much simpler for you to get the diffuser planted, and also simpler in a post plant.
It is. We got 2 C4s in Team 1, Dash and Rise. Rise has lost his, not sure if pre-plays or simply just popped off earlier in the round, but at least the vertical damage destruction that is possible for Team 1 is there. So when DC starts moving up as Hyper is, that could be a problem because they have no information down below.
There's mute jammers to thwart any advance on the top floor. Team 1 finding shelter on that second floor bomb site. And now Dash maybe even going for a rotate onto the first floor. DZ have control of all of the third floor. All 5 of their players now inside of the map, not just waiting outside. That Sledge doing the work that we talked about before, and now you want to narrow down where the other defenders are and not get yourself blown up in the process. There's a Nitro Cell in the hands of Dash that can go somewhere. Rises has either been used or replaced, leaving just one bit of explosiveness for Team 1 to derail a potential take from the top floor. There's the first kill. It goes on to Hyper. Maya was rotating and gets caught out. DZ again with the first kill of the round. But it's Dash to retake. As the diffuser goes down, Eclipse thinks otherwise of it. He has to get off. Team 1 owns the kill feed, but Eclipse, as he puts the diffuser away, kills Lagonis. Now it's Dots to come in, but NJR has coverage from above. Dash is still up there, and Eclipse for a third time will attempt to get the diffuser down. Team 1 only have Dash just left, living up to their namesake, but he's got a clean shot on NJR. In the post plant with the clock running down, Dash will need to retake. Slowly. Right now, just walking along this red hall. There's still players from DZ, both in the bomb site and from above, but there's no real information. The red mark will fade. Diffuser in sight of DZ from above. Dash checking corners, but there's nobody to be found. Might just have no choice but to hop on it. Nitro Cell done for Dash. He's halfway there, and he's dusted out by Eclipse. DZ answer back. Both teams tied. One apiece.
We say structure DarkZero. Look at that post plan. 2 players up above just waiting for him to defuse. They can start listening forward and get a free kill. The crowd have a favor.
Of course they do.
Of course they do.
It's a North American crowd. Of course they're going to be cheering for the North American team.
Of
Nick,
course
that shouldn't surprise you at all.
It doesn't surprise me.
Sure, the
I
water
just
is
like
also
hearing
wet.
chants, okay? That's all. We're tied up 1-1. Even though it sounds a little bit different perhaps. But no, we're tied up 1-1. We are going to cocktail top floor, third floor bomb site. DC gotten both opening kills so far. DC also with a plant in the previous round. That puts them on 15 plants total. Of course, still leading the charge in that department, as the average amount of plants across every single team, across all of group stage, is 8. They have 15. They're almost doubling the average plant rate, which speaks again to how they view the game as a whole and what their objective is every single round. You're not going to see DC go, you know what, there's 2 guys left, let's rush the bomb site and get some kills. They're going to see, no, there's 2 guys left, this plant is even easier than it should be. We're going to take it for free and play that post plant nice and conservative and take it.
And this is a bomb site where we do tend to see a lot of diffusers get planted. There are a number of different places where you can plant that diffuser as an attacking squad. You can do it next to the bomb chassis. You can do it behind the bar itself. You can get in a cocktail and plant on that portion of the map, though teams do tend to favor the area of the bar that is under the skylight or towards the top of red. Seems to be much safer. Every now and then we'll see a ying and a smoke drop through skylight if you feel like you've been able to pin down the defenders in their positions, but again, the DZ lineup is the same as they ran last round. They're bringing hard destruction, they're bringing soft destruction. They've got Finka to just tie it all together because that's the operator's role right now. And it works, and if it works, why bother changing it up?
The one thing they've changed though is like, sure, the operators are the same, but the people playing them has changed. Because now Eclipse in the A's, that was Pamba's previous operator. Pamba's on Ibana. Well, Troy was Sledge, now he's Twitch. So they're changing up their operators based on what their objective or their individual roles are in each given round.
From round number 1, that's absolutely correct. Dots surviving, bevy of explosions now inside of the bathroom on that reinforcement. The Valkyrie will continue to give information, dead or alive. Dots is sitting on that cam at the moment. In terms of information, it was something that Team 1 did struggle with on previous rounds. They brought the Echo in round number 1 to help give them a little bit more information. This time they've got both a Valkyrie and a Maestro. Those bubbles, as you refer to them, aka Maestro cams, aka Evil Eyes, are going to be there, indestructible as they may be. Adrenaline Surge and a nice clean shot from Bambazoo as he executes dash, then runs right back up the top of red. You don't need to bring a Nomad, you don't need to bring a Claymore, you just go down there and do it yourself. Third round in a row, the DarkZero opens up the killing.
And it's DC with that information game because Pambazu had a yellow ping inside of mine and knew the whereabouts of this player, but this Valkyrie camera can do the same thing for them because if you don't shut down the information game from the defenders, you're gonna find yourself in trouble. You can play off that information. You see Dots right now looking to get aggressive.
Just to be very wary of the window on White, but shot at from multiple angles, softened up and back to the top of White's stairs. Dots will go, licks his wounds, misses the opportunity. Pambazu was much better in the engagement earlier. Not so much this time around. Lagonis onto those lumber pallets, now side by side with the weaker Valkyrie. Both teams at a standstill. Not a lot of time left, almost in the final 30 seconds. Team 1 just need to sit patiently and wait. They've got plenty of artillery to do that. They've got 1 nitro cell as well, and they've got Dots taking down Eclipse DZ trail. Grenade goes in, blows up Maya sky high. NJR has clear passage to sail in. Canadian drops through the skylight. There's a body that's crouched, but he doesn't see them. There's shots raining out, but it's a disappearing act. Down the Valkyrie, but not enough. Still full of HP. Lagonis is next, 4-1 his score line. A major advantage for Team 1. Clock almost down. Diffuser needs to be planted. Dots is on a rampage. Suddenly it's Hyper in a 1v2, and he needs to catch both kills with 2 seconds left. He has 1, but can't get the diffuser down. Team 1 waits out the clock, and they regain the lead in this match.
That clock really is the big problem for DarkZero. We spoke about it. When you're on the attacking side at a big event with a crowd, the pressure, it gets to you. There's a little bit more to it than playing in a regular setting at home or playing from a group stage setting, and it shows. That G2 in their opening rounds, they are very slow on their attacking side. DC are known to be a slower-ish team, but they're not known to not get the diffuser down and struggle to get into the position where that becomes possible. So, give them a couple of rounds. They're gonna show up again, I'm sure, but it does just tell the story of defending in the opening couple of rounds when the pressure is at its highest. It really can favor you and buy you a round here or two. DC now, we're down 1-2 in scoreline, and we will get shown already the 4th bomb site of Cafe. So 4 rounds, 4 bomb sites, even though only 2 of them were successful.
Oryx comes in. I always feel like he's an operator that needs to be mentioned. Do I have to say
no.
it?
Say it. You
Do I have to say it?
You have to say it.
He's the fastest operator in the game.
Thank you. You could have put a little bit more emphasis on it, maybe, like really lift that phrase, but
No.
who's the fastest operator in the game?
Why would I do such thing?
He's the fastest operator in the entirety of Rainbow Six Siege.
Nick,
Phenomenal operator.
if you say it so much better, then why the hell don't you say it every time?
It is your saying, that is why. I cannot steal it, I cannot take it. I'm a smoke main, of all things.
You just have to improve upon the things I say. Eh?
What is your main operator, Parker, as a player of the game?
I'm a caster.
As a caster of the game, what's your main operator that you play when you play the
You
game?
know, probably Hibana.
Okay,
Smoke.
okay.
What does it matter?
Just curious.
I'm terrible at any of them.
Oh.
Ooh, Hyper's been downed in the first altercation, but has the adrenal surge to get himself back up. That is a costly error for DarkZero in that engagement. Team One have been quite aggressive and look for early picks in every single round. We highlighted the Kaid in 2 rounds in particular. Dots on the Valkyrie in the previous round did the same thing. This time, clearly, obviously favors Team One.
And it's why Canadian now is on the IQ, because DC as well, they acknowledge that the information game is a huge problem for them. And honestly, Canadian, kind of a big brain, because not only do you have to deal with the Valkyrie cameras, but you also got Lagonis on the poles. IQ, a direct counter to both, and of course the Fuse, once you get control of Piano, you do a bunch of damage to them.
With the operators that run bulletproof cameras and the prevalency that we have of Valkyrie in this matchup, Team One are running 2 info ops on defense every single round to try and thwart the entries from DarkZero. It's worked for 2 of the 3 rounds thus far. A good counter from DZ, as you pointed out. The only real deficit that IQ provides, or has rather, is that there's no explosives on her end. So you need to substitute it somewhere else. So why not bring the operator with the most explosives in the game? How about a Fuse? That's exactly what Eclipse is doing.
Absolutely, and also that secondary heartbeat schedule in case the Hibana falls early or you need a bit of extra help. And it's Team One sitting still. They know they don't have to challenge that badly up above, but this vertical challenge, it goes in favor of Dots again. It's NJR, it's Sledge off the board for DC.
Very first pick for Team One, but Dots is the one who seems to like these early picks, whether it be after DZ gets theirs, and it's just a simple answer, who knows? First cluster charge goes off, still 2 remaining. Another will join. You can hear that cacophony of explosives. There's nobody right now sitting on the dining or the mining bomb site. They're positioned over towards dining and the surrounding area of reading. Also, a late flank from down below. A potential flank, but that heartbeat sensor that Lagonis has in his hands can look through the floor and give you all the information when the execute comes out. Pulse also has a nitro cell, can be a little bit greedy, benefit off his own kills. Looking for whatever he can get. 20 seconds. This round has flown by. A lot of patience from DarkZero, but the problem with patience is that you might just be walking to your undoing. A nitro cell goes off. Team One just absolutely racking up the kills. Now you need Canadian to sit over top with the diffuser being planted by Eclipse. Dot's caught out. He might be old, but he can still frag. Down goes Raz as well. And now on red stairs to try and retake. Team One are in trouble from above. Dash is up there. Canadian will need to clutch this out for his team. Diffuser down 15 seconds. The IQ will reposition. Crowd finally feeling it. Nice shot from Canadian. 4 kills will need to be his. Pulse is his signature operator. A bit of humor injected. And irony as now things get tense. Halfway there, the pulse is off. Canadian will need to test his reflexes, and he does a fine job. 4 kills for the captain of DarkZero. The game's tied up at 2 rounds apiece.
He saves the round. He got the initial kill while Eclipse planted down the diffuser. He sprinted across both bomb sites to save him as the diffuser went down. And at a moment's notice, well, he got there. He found every single kill, got the 1v1, and even won it in the end. The UMP does not prevail. It's IQ, Canadian, who gets the round.
This is why we miss crowds, of course. This is why we missed you so, so very much. Full site rotation now for Team One. As you mentioned, all 4 bomb sites have been played, so why not go back to where it all began, down on Kitchen. DarkZero have made it work twice so far, but I will say that the information game that Team One is running and how aggressively Team One is playing off-site, it seems to be thwarting DZ because their executes have been painfully slow. With that said, they've still got 2 diffusers planted, which now brings them up to 16 total diffusers planted, which is double second place.
That is indeed double second place, and If you recall back in the NAL, DarkZero, well, one of their weaknesses is when teams play extremely aggressive into them. And Team oNe, they do have 2 players playing from Mexico with a bit of a higher ping, and they said in their opening interview when this tournament started back in group stage, yes, our plan is to play more aggressive than usual, because we do have the issue of ping, and we also know that our aggression can be one of our strengths. So they're playing into this unfortunate situation that was granted to them, unfortunately. And so far, it's working out. They're tied up with DC in the quarters here on Cafe. And information game, it keeps flowing out because Maya is on the Echo, no Valkyrie this time. And that's also why DC has gotten off the IQ. But look at Eclipse. He's brought out the Capital. Normally, this signifies a straight bakery attack. That doesn't seem to be the case for DarkZero. But when we get to that execution stage, you get the fire, you get the smoke. You have so many different tools to deal with the defenders. The one thing DC has to do well this time, for a change, is the roam clear. They either can't be too slow, or, well, they could just go direct and ignore it entirely. That's where the fire comes in handy.
Maya will take some damage and reposition from behind that bakery counter. Another fire goes in as well from that Capital bolt. Formerly asphyxiating bolts, but now they've streamlined it. And as the fire rises and eventually tapers off, they've got complete control for DarkZero now inside a bakery. They can walk right in and they're going to drone it out. Also see that prep is open, but you got to watch your feet. The Warden, currently positioned behind the shield, allows Dots in this position. No way, no way, no way. Dash is on the hunt. How do you not hear him? Canadian does not have ears. He was not born with them. First kill goes in favor of Team oNe for the 2nd round in a row.
And that's again like not droning out the roamers. DC trying to go directly and then hopefully force off the roamers, but no. Team oNe, they want more. It's both Dots and Maya find one each. It's 2v5 for DarkZero.
And DZ, well, you don't have to worry about executing with 20 seconds left and being a little bit too slow with your executes if Team oNe doesn't even let you get to that point in the round. A 2v5 for DarkZero with 60 seconds left. Plenty of time for Team oNe to sit back and wait and allow DZ to walk right in. Lagonis goes down, but it's a trade for players, maybe not the same people. NJR, the only body for DarkZero, not in the grave. And he gets taken to one by Maya. Digging the ditch while he waited, and Team oNe, well, they regain the lead. This has been a seesaw right now. 1 round Team oNe, 1 round DZ. Looking like a 3-3 half at the moment, Nick.
Let's break down the stats real quick because I know people are curious. What does this mean for DarkZero being down 2-3 and possibly going, well, 2-4 down? Well, Cafe has been played 6 times at this event. Currently, so far, 47% in favor of defense. So, in other words, attackers are the favored side when it comes to Cafe. And with the operator bands that you see on your screen, the Maverick, the Thatcher, the Aruni, and the Wamai, it isn't necessarily swayed any differently. So, you do want to tie this up 3-3 for an attacking side because you're expected to. That's what most people find their success.
I'm glad you pointed that out because being that it's a 47-53 split, that's a coin toss of 1 round to determine whether or not it goes in favor of the attackers or defenders. Most likely outcome based on those numbers would be a 3-3 half. The way these teams are playing it, it certainly seems that way. But not to take any credit away from DarkZero, Canadians 4K to save the round is not exactly something you can count on. Strategically, Team oNe looked far more comfortable in that round. They played it poorly in the post plant. Canadian ended up collecting those kills because the time was running out. Team oNe put themselves in a bit of a box by not rotating off that top floor to get to the bomb sooner. Okay, but once again, that's a 1v1. 15 seconds left on the clock. Flip a coin. Does Canadian get the 4K? Does he lose? Suddenly, this is Team oNe's first half. So very close, very tense. Even if they emerge 3-3, I still want to give a bit of a nod to Team oNe as the team that just looked sharper through that first half. But we'll see, of course, what transpires here in round number 6.
Absolutely, and Team oNe this time, they're bringing out the mirror on Dash. Maybe speaking DarkZero's love language a bit more, saying, try and clear out this mirror window position. Try and do what you do best. They are giving DarkZero a problem that they have to solve, and that is exactly where they shine.
You know what Mira functions as in many ways? An information op. Exactly,
yeah.
And you've got a Maestro too. So again, Team oNe bringing 2 info ops every single round, whether it's a pulse, whether it's a bulletproof camera, Valkyrie, etc. And I like the adaptations that Team oNe are bringing out from these defenses, especially the Mira. And I want to see what their game plan is for when the push comes to shove from DarkZero and the execute.
And I mean, this is also why Kite is such a strong operator. When the Thatcher is off the board, there's no easy way to clear out those claws, but we can assume it's being put down below. That's why Canadian is on the Twitch, but he's looking, and it's not. It's actually being put up above because Team One, they've been one step ahead so far. They recognize that they've been playing Twitch every single round, and they felt, you know what? Let's take the claw into our pockets and put it upstairs instead and bait out DarkZero to check for it below instead.
The two more support-oriented players on DarkZero who are leading the way in the kills department, which doesn't speak very well to DZ's entry. It does, however, speak very well about how Team One is playing on defense. They are right now outclassing Panba, NJR, and especially Hyper, who's having a 1-in-4 game on Finca. That is a dreadfully poor result.
Got it.
There goes the mirror window. It might not be a kill, but it's still pretty sexy if you're a DarkZero fan, right? There's some coverage inside a bathroom that's been now removed. Hyper fires away. 60 bullets still left, an unfathomable amount. And there'll be an opening even greater created on the wall in bathroom as a Selma from Eclipse goes in that way.
Gotta see Hype and NJR start stepping up because they're the two top performers throughout the entire group stage so far. And unironically, it's Eclipse and Canadian at the bottom. And again, Pambasu falls early. It's Dots who gets, again, the aggressive kill.
The offsite players for Team One, even if you want to call them that, are doing really well, but Canadian leading the way, the oldest man on the team. Back to a 4v4, 30 seconds to go. DZ will need to swing through windows. They'll be very vulnerable and they don't have information, but Team One does. That lineup, again, will help them so much in the clutch. And DarkZero need to pick their poison. Where do you go? All to choose through Canadian. No real way to repel on in. Dash down now, 2. Into a 3v3. Maya outgunned. Suddenly DZ has come alive, but it's Lagonis on the flank, on the top of white stairs. It's all on his shoulder with 5 seconds left. Eclipse will need to plant. NJR and Eclipse both on 1 HP. Lagonis goes by Lagonis, and that's why DZ, they fail in the final seconds, and Lagonis saves the round to give the first half to Team One 4-2.
I've been thinking SMG11 in that position is so hard to play correctly, but both members of DC were literally on 1 HP. All Lagonis needed was that one stray bullet to get the injury, and he did just that. That's all he had to do, and then play out the time, and did that beautifully.
I mean, people will say, why did you get off the plant? He was halfway through, because Lagonis is 3 steps away from you.
Yep.
It doesn't
Gotta
matter
rotate.
if it's the SMG11, it doesn't do a ton of damage, but with how low Eclipse was, it's a single bullet. Additionally, he's got a shotgun, and that's gonna kill you at point blank range. Eclipse was doomed no matter what. His best chance was to try and use those final 2 seconds. Get off the diffuser, swing the doorway, hope for a pick on Lagonis, save the round with nanoseconds. Didn't happen. I don't know if they knew the position of Lagonis or not. Either way, that's just one small part of a round that was much greater than that. Team One's defenses look quite stifling. And if we go through the first half report, both teams getting the opening pick 3 times. Rounds 1 through 3, DarkZero's. Rounds 4 through 6, Team One. It doesn't necessarily give you the round if you get the first pick, but it certainly helps. DZ also got the diffuser planted in round 2 and 4. They won both those rounds. As for the sites, all 4 bomb sites showed up on that Team One defense. So a very healthy amount of gameplay all over this map. It's a cocktail defense to start off DarkZero's defensive stead.
And look at the operator lineup. We got the Gridlock, Amaro, Lion, and Ying. Something is cooking up from the side of Team One. It's going to be most likely a bit of a rush and aggressive round because all these operators, they speak towards chaos. And chaos is what they want to thrive in. The Amaro gadget can go in through a window extremely quickly with the Lion scan. No defenders can move for 2 seconds straight. That's your opening. That's your window if you're Team One. If you can make it happen and get those injury kills, you find yourself all of a sudden on the bomb site with the advantage. However, if DC shuts it down, that's where they take the driver's seat.
Well, you said something was cooking up and Candela was ready to go, but I think they think otherwise. It's time for Lagonis to go on in. Canadian falls and answer back. Lagonis cannot do it. DZ rebuffs the advance very quickly. Dash and Dots are inside the building, but they do not have diffuser control. It might as well be on another map with how far away it is. Dots and Dash side by side. They'll have to regroup. DZ, patient as ever. Very far apart. Dash knows that there's one inside of the bathroom. If he creeps up at the top of white stairs, he peeks NJR and wins a swing back, but Team One can't really do much other than that kill, but the numbers are so close. Still very winnable for the Brazilian squad. even if Dash has taken quite a beating. Pambazoo with the shotgun, they know he's gonna swing onto it, it's a rodeo! Pambazoo drives a shotgun blast with the hearts of 2 Team 1 players, and DZ's first defense is a success.
Party time, by the way. And again, the opening kills really define that entire round. Whoever comes on top, when the push comes through, as you see right here on your screen, that is who comes out with the round, because you get so many kills, you get the advantage, then you just have to hold down the ground, which we see Pambazoo do beautifully inside of top floor bathroom.
I was gonna say, you know how they always do based on the syllables, you know, Panba, party time. You can do that. That's a chant that you can do. You don't have to be, you don't have to just say like, let's go DZ. Be more creative.
I like it.
You can do it.
Let's see if Panther will earn that chant.
He doesn't deserve the chant yet. No,
not yet.
Not yet.
But
make him work for it.
Make him work for it, and once he gets it, that's what we would like to hear, because player chants are quite rare. Normally it is just team rants, as you say.
I will say I've seen a couple Brazilian flags in the audience. When Team 1 does well, you gotta be louder, frankly. This is a direct call out to all the Brazilian fans that are in here. Be loud.
Out.
Team 1 wins, it's quiet as a church mouse in here. I get that you like DarkZero. I get it. I understand. Nick likes DarkZero.
Yeah. I mean,
you don't hear him cheering.
That'd be maybe a biased caster, wouldn't it, Parker?
No such thing.
No such thing, no, not at all.
Second defense now for DarkZero. They're going to go down to mining second time if this bomb site shows up. DZ won it the only other time. They did it on attack. That was Canadian's 4K. Diffuser got planted by Eclipse. A bit of a goofy pick, if you want to call it that, in the fuse being brought by DarkZero. The lineup for Team 1 does kind of have a goofy pick in Gridlock. Gridlock does get played on Cafe a fair amount, because when you bring a Nomad and you put those air jabs, certain stairs, certain halls, top of certain doorways, that's all fine and dandy. But the way that you apply those 4-track stingers from Gridlock covers a much wider area and makes a ton of noise. Yeah, people aren't often gonna step in it, but it gives you information either way. Speaking of, those are 2-track stingers that are tossed in through the skylight of Dots. Already half of his utility burned. Hyper tempting an engagement as the drone flies in but does not reveal his position.
Yeah, honestly, the only uncommon part about the Gridlock pick is that normally you play her when Nomad is banned out, but Nomad is available. So this is a choice made by Team 1 that they prefer this operator over the other flank deny operator, if you will. Of course, you could also speak to the fact that maybe Dots or Team 1 want those smoke grenades because no other operator at their disposal right now can bring that piece of utility. And it hasn't been useful just yet because last round was a rush. But if they play a more slow-paced round of Rainbow Six Siege, as they are currently, those smoke grenades can really reward you later on when you try and go for that execute. And on a mining attack, that's exactly what your goal is going to be. We see DarkZero play consolidated, playing together, waiting for Team 1 to make the first move. We now see Eclipse at the 1 minute 20-second mark fall back and sacrificing or giving up that top floor position, and now we're just playing first or second floor and first floor.
Team 1 have used 2 of their adrenal surges, so either they are really eager to get into the bomb site and think that the execute's going to happen sooner than it is, or they're sustaining chip damage from the players on DarkZero. None that I've seen yet. DZ still waiting. Final minute of action. DZ can tie it up by taking their second defense. This is not a reading defense, so all of the explosions happening around reading is to just flush out defenders. Hyper still has not been spotted. I don't know if there's a drone ready. It's literally right next to him, but he hasn't been spotted. He's still there, waiting ever so patiently. DZ will now take the engagement. Canadian loses it. Team 1 starts things off quite well in this round, and they look for more, but they are at the mercy of the clock again. It was the undoing of DarkZero. Will Team 1 follow suit? Still wrecking house from above. Down goes Pambazoo. Eclipse on red stairs will take down Dash, another in line of sight, but Eclipse waits ever so patiently. Spam pinging away. There goes Rise to Hyper again. That Jaeger's position not spotted. Lagonis in the bomb site. NJR's been downed. Eclipse is going to be the kingmaker. And through the wall, down goes Maya. Lagona has to bail on the plant. Not a ton of time left. A secure onto the kill, but they have to stop him in their tracks. Dots to cover. Out dueling as the diffuser goes down. Eclipse is in the bomb site. Lagonis is off. It's Hyper in a 1v2. Team 1 in great shape. But through the door, Hyper is having a bit of a problem. How do you get back to the bomb site, especially when you're blinded? Repositioning, looking for more than 3 kills in this match. Buying time. Can't really do all that much. Nobody there to help him at all. And Lagonis through the wall, a huge round. Team 1 up 5-3.
honestly, when I saw it for a brief second, I was like, we've seen this before, and we have. It was when Troy, Canadian, and Eclipse played that in reversed roles when they were the ones planting and the ones covering. And just like DC, well, Team One, they also become successful from how they played that round, using that middle of the room object to basically give yourself cover so you can get down that diffuser. Then breakdancing on the floor in that middle of that gunfight, like oNe is doing both the planting and the killing in that round while leading his team into that plant situation. Well done for him, well done for Team One, and they are now pressuring DarkZero as we're now in a 3-5 scoreline.
The timeout taken as behind the bench, BC no longer the coach. He's moved to a more managerial position inside of DarkZero. It's Mint, the former player that was on the squad, as coach now. A pretty good time to take your timeout. Again, we want to reference the way that Cafe plays, 47% in favor of the defense, 53% the attackers. So it's a coin toss map. Team One emerging from the first half 4-2 is statistically quite bad for DarkZero. This is also Team One's map.
Yes,
so
it is.
It's not exactly dire for DarkZero. If they lose, they go to Theme Park, which is their choice next. And if you talk to a lot of teams at the top level, they will tell you, especially with a big 9-map map pool where not every team has had a chance to come up with strats on these maps, there are a lot of teams that go into a best of 3 and say, we're gonna lose their map. We gotta win ours, and we need to make sure that the tiebreaker goes in our favor. Tiebreaker is Clubhouse. If both these teams win their maps, that's where we're gonna go. Either way, tactical timeout done for DarkZero. Team One also able to speak to their coach. Just wanna get that out there. The coaches are allowed to talk to their players on both teams. It's a kitchen defense for DZ. The Lord appears. Eclipse loving these Russian operators. It's a second so far. Great destructive capabilities. The LMG that Tachanka brings just chews through soft walls and creates lines of sight. And you can just take a quick gander at this bomb site. So much destruction that's been done that gives great viewing angles to DarkZero for when Team One gets in the building.
And of course, it's Shurima launcher as well with those Molotovs can deny the plant when it comes down to that situation. More and more teams have been trying to bring the Lord, aka Tachanka, into it, but look at this wall. It's completely gone thanks to Tachanka, thanks to Eclipse. But that does mean there is no smoke on the board, no toxic babes. The Echo, the Tachanka, we're clearly playing around the fact that the timer might be running low. We can use our utility to deny a plant from Team One. We have a C4 and Hyper on the Warden as well, and the Warden as an operator counters Ying and flashbangs and smokes. So DC are going for a very passive approach to this round. And it worries me a little bit, because when you give so much map control to the attackers immediately, look at this, 2 minutes and 8 seconds left. They have droned all of top floor, and they've almost droned all of the second floor as well. Team One are gonna have so much time to work with, so they can start breaking down the floor, look at the bomb site, drone in and out, see that they have Tachanka, see that they have Echo, then look for those Yokai drones and shut them down, and then DarkZero, their entire win condition goes out the window, and Hyper's already used his C4, likely pre-placed somewhere, waiting to explode.
Yokai off-site, scouting out. Those Echo changes really did drop his pick rate and his ban rate. There was a period of time where Echo was almost a constant ban for a lot of these teams. The Yokai drones don't cloak anymore if you're returning to Rainbow Six after a long vacation. So they are far easier to spot. A lot of teams will use them off-site now because you're not necessarily going to look at the ceiling of the second floor if you're attacking kitchen. Well, I mean, maybe you will if there's a Valkyrie in play, which in this case there is, but it's much easier for teams to tuck them away. A very valuable piece of utility that Canadian loses access to. I don't know if there's a second Yokai up.
I mean, we're looking at now, they have the information. The Red Beam comes out, forces the positional move. Canadian makes the wrong decision, and it's again Dash who finds the kill. That's Yokai off the board. Huge loss for DarkZero.
Team One are just opening up round after round after round, and DarkZero are struggling to catch up. Yeah, they've had some good moments, but Team One very firmly in the driver's seat at this point. Just under a minute. Back onto drones they go. DZ can wait patiently. Again, they don't really need to give up anything. Looking like a freezer drop for at least some of the players from Team One as the Hibana is positioned by the front door. Eclipse sees a flashbang whiz over his head, but there's a huge blind spot. Dash just walks in and gets 2 of the freest kills. Dots with 1 as well. It's Hyper in a 1v4. He's got a pick. Cannot outduel Maya. Team One's guns are just crushing DarkZero all across the field. DZ not getting it done with their 3-star players. They need that supporting cast to show up. it's match point for Team One on their map.
Now the pressure's really on if you're DarkZero because nothing's really working. And I mean, the Yokai, the Echo, Canadian played such a huge role in that round. But what ended up happening was that he found early, and that really puts you on the back end, on your back foot, and makes the round just that much more difficult if you're DarkZero. And they gotta figure out how to break apart Team One because they're trying to play structured, passive, slow, safe, if you will. Holding their cards close to their body, but I think if you're DarkZero, especially on match point, play super aggressive. Utilize NJR, Hyper, Pambasu, show them what the NAL Gunners can do against the LATAM team, instead of saying we are fundamentally a stronger team than Team One. We can play structurally better than Team One. Well, that doesn't matter, because if they can just walk on in and find kills every single round, well, you're going to be losing.
Speaking to that specifically, as simplistic an assessment of their team as it is, Hyper and Pambasu both being 4 and 7 each is just not good enough. When you're going up against a team that is hitting their shots, you need your 2 entries to entry. NJR has picked things up in the second half, but Hyper and Pambasu are just losing gun duel after gun duel, and there really isn't much more to it than that.
You're right. I mean, so far as well, DC has not found an opening kill on their defensive half as of yet, and that again speaks to, again, the Gunners of DarkZero. NJR, Hyper, and Pamba, they're all positive in KD, all positive in interstats, but in this particular matchup on Cafe, that's not the case. It's Canadian Eclipse early on that rose to the top. There's still somewhat there. NJR, you know, he's now also rising at that 7-8 mark, but we gotta see more from Hyper, we gotta see more from Pampa, and NJR already injured in the first 30 seconds of the round.
Team One like this speed. NJR gets picked back
Was
up.
that a team injury from a shotgun?
I'm not sure, but damage is still done. That could have been a very costly error that downed NJR. We didn't actually see the circumstances.
He got one pump from full HP to injured. There's no grenades on the attacking side. If I had to guess, I think that was a teammate mistake, unfortunately.
Well, not ideal spot to find yourself in at all. In terms of those opening picks, by the way, I do want to say that round number 7 was essentially a trade on opening picks because there were 4 players that died in the span of 5 seconds, and that was when the rush strat that Team One employed failed. So, and it was the only round so far on their defense that we have seen DZ triumph on. Lagonis wants to burn through whatever ADSs and anti-projectiles are on the other side of that with my band. All you really need to worry about is that ADS. Look at this, Dash is in the bomb site, by the way. 2 huge kills. Dash is just toying with DarkZero at this point, and a smoke will go out. It'll mask his way as he heads through. Now you see the Osa come on in. Maya is there. DZ are getting trampled underfoot. Hyper and Eclipse with nothing left. Now it's just Eclipse in a 1v5, and he gets it off. But no, Dots puts an exclamation mark on that round and on that map. A triumphant first map for Team One. They take it 7-3.
I mean, that final round, Dash, the aggression, the early roam again, getting into the building, finding kill after kill, and then the Osa inside Piano, causing a distraction from the player of Pambasu behind the mirror window. Oh boy, it's almost like they're toying with DarkZero in some of these rounds, and DC are finding themselves in corners constantly, and it's not working for them.
Even the rounds that DarkZero won were not lopsided rounds. The rounds that DZ won were nail-biters, and if you go back to round number 7, it was because of that rush strat falling apart, which is always a huge gamble.
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily rely on DZ to show up round in, round out. This is a very disappointing map by DarkZero standards. They have to turn it around on Theme Park. The mental aspect of DarkZero has been called into question before. This is where it will really be put to the test. Team One, under bizarre circumstances, get visas at the last minute. 3 of their players fly in, and they fry you on map number 1. I don't know what's in store for us on Theme Park. I don't care who wins, frankly. I just want a bit more of a close matchup. Before we get there, let's break down the first map. We have a break ready for you first. We'll be back in a couple minutes.